Chapter 1. The Cost of Staying Awake. The second timeline of Priya Sharma. Chapter 1. The Cost of Staying Awake. Priya Sharma died on a Tuesday. Not dramatically. Not heroically. Just tired. The 28-year-old occupational therapist and biomedical engineer had spent 72 hours at a rehabilitation technology startup in Bengaluru trying to push a product release before investors arrived. The company called it dedication. The employees called it survival. 3 energy drinks sat in her cup holder as she drove home after midnight. The traffic lights blurred. Her eyes burned. Every muscle ached. She remembered thinking she should pull over. Just 5 minutes of sleep. But she was only 20 minutes from home. Then headlights flashed. A horn screamed. And the world vanished. When Priya opened her eyes again, she was sitting at a polished desk. "Miss Patel?" She blinked. A woman in a navy suit stared at her. "Are you all right?" Priya sat upright. Everything looked wrong. A massive glass office. An unfamiliar computer. An identification badge. Maya Patel, executive assistant. Executive assistant? She wasn't Maya Patel. She wasn't even in India anymore. 3 hours later, after a mild panic attack and a great deal of covert investigation, Priya discovered something impossible. She had transmigrated into a novel. A ridiculous billionaire CEO romance novel she'd skimmed months earlier while doom-scrolling online. And unfortunately, she'd become the new executive assistant of the male lead. Or rather, the future villain. Adrian Voss. In the original story, Adrian was a genius tech billionaire who eventually became a ruthless antagonist. The novel blamed greed. But Priya remembered details most readers ignored. His multiple sclerosis diagnosis. His worsening health. His isolation. His depression. The board members constantly questioning his competence. The endless pressure. By the final chapters, he wasn't evil. He was exhausted. And broken. That realization unsettled her. Because she understood exhaustion. She had died from it. Her first meeting with Adrian happened that afternoon. The CEO's office occupied the entire top floor. When she entered, she nearly stopped breathing. Not because he was handsome. Though he absolutely was. Tall. Dark-haired. Sharp gray eyes. Elegant black suit. The sort of face magazine covers adored. No. What caught her attention was the fatigue. She recognized it immediately. The slight tremor in his right hand. The tension around his eyes. The careful way he shifted his weight. The effort behind every movement. Symptoms. Adrian looked up from a tablet. "You survived orientation." His voice was dry. "Congratulations." Priya blinked. "Thank you? It has a 30% retention rate." She almost laughed. Then his hand slipped. The tablet nearly fell. His jaw tightened. For half a second frustration crossed his face. Gone almost immediately. But she saw it. Most people wouldn't. Occupational therapists were trained to notice things others missed. The subtle compensations. The hidden struggles. The invisible effort. Adrian set the tablet down. "You're staring." "Sorry. Do I have spinach in my teeth?" "No." "Good. That would be humiliating." Priya stared. He stared back. Then unexpectedly, a small smile appeared. Dry humor. Interesting. As the meeting continued, she noticed more. He frequently adjusted posture. Rubbed one shoulder. Squinted occasionally at screens. Shifted tasks between hands. Signs of fatigue and coordination issues. And nobody seemed to acknowledge any of it. When she returned to her desk later, Priya made a decision. The original story had failed him. She wouldn't. Her first invention was simple. Small enough nobody would question it. A smart workstation system. Using existing company sensors and AI posture software, she modified Adrian's desk setup. The system monitored sitting position, muscle fatigue patterns, screen distance, and work duration. Instead of disruptive alerts, it provided subtle prompts. Stretch. Hydrate. Rest eyes. Change posture. Take medication. Stand briefly. The next morning Adrian arrived and immediately noticed. His eyebrow lifted. "What happened to my desk?" Priya tried not to look nervous. "I improved it." Without permission? Technically. That's a dangerous word. He examined the display. Read through the analytics. Looked at her. Then looked back. Interesting. That's all? I don't give compliments before coffee. 3 hours later, he emerged from a board meeting. Less exhausted than usual. His gait steadier. His eyes clearer. He paused beside her desk. Miss Patel. Yes? The reminder to stop working through lunch was annoying. Priya waited. It was also useful. Chapter 2. Learning the Shape of Trust. Then he walked away. It wasn't much. But it was a beginning. And for the first time since waking in this strange world, Priya smiled. Perhaps this story could be rewritten after all. Chapter 2. Learning the Shape of Trust. Trust arrived quietly. Not through grand gestures. But through routine. Adrian worked too much. That became apparent immediately. 12-hour days. Skipped meals. Late-night meetings. Endless travel requests. Hundreds of decisions. His neurologist had clearly provided recommendations. The problem was that he rarely followed them. Not out of recklessness, but because he believed the company needed him. Every minute. Every decision. Every crisis. Priya had once believed the same thing about her startup. She knew exactly where that road ended. A gravestone. So she started small. Again. His office chair caused pressure points during long meetings. She redesigned it. The adaptive seat automatically adjusted support based on posture and fatigue data. The conference rooms triggered heat sensitivity. A common MS issue. She modified environmental controls. The elevator waits exhausted him. She optimized schedules. Each solution was practical, incremental, evidence-based. Adrian resisted exactly half of them, which was actually better than expected. You installed another sensor. It's a wearable. It spies on me. It monitors fatigue. It spies politely. The wrist device tracked heart rate variability, stress indicators, sleep quality, and activity levels. When data suggested elevated flare risk, it recommended adjustments. Rest periods. Hydration. Reduced workload. Medication reminders. 3 weeks later, Adrian reluctantly admitted it worked. You were right. Priya looked up. About what? The wearable predicted my fatigue spike yesterday. She grinned. I'll frame this conversation. Destroy all evidence. Their relationship slowly shifted. Boss and assistant. Then collaborators. Then friends. She learned he possessed an extraordinary mind. He could understand complex systems after minutes of exposure. Business strategy. Neural networks. Economics. Human behavior. Everything connected effortlessly in his head. He learned she was equally relentless. When presented with a problem, Priya couldn't stop solving it. One evening, they remained alone in the office. Rain tapped against the glass. Adrian reviewed prototype data. Priya worked beside him. Can I ask something? He nodded. Why did you become an engineer? His expression softened. My mother had Parkinson's. Priya stilled. I was 12 when symptoms started. His gaze remained on the screen. I hated watching brilliant people lose independence because technology hadn't caught up. Something twisted painfully inside her. So you built solutions. That was the plan. A pause. Then I got diagnosed. The words hung quietly between them. Multiple sclerosis. 6 years. Countless appointments. Countless fears. How did you handle it? She asked gently. A humorless laugh escaped him. Poorly. Honesty. Raw and unexpected. For the first year I pretended it wasn't happening. He looked down. Then symptoms got worse. Priya waited. People stopped seeing me. His voice lowered. They saw the disease first. Her chest tightened. Investors. Journalists. Board members. Everyone questioning capability. Not because he lacked confidence, but because he used accommodations. I see you. The words escaped before she could stop them. Silence. Adrian looked at her. Really looked. And something changed. A wall shifted. Chapter 3. The Things Nobody Says. Just slightly. But enough. Chapter 3. The Things Nobody Says. 6 months passed. Progress wasn't linear. MS rarely was. Some weeks Adrian felt stronger. Others felt impossible. There were days he completed 12-hour strategic planning sessions. And days when severe fatigue made simple conversations exhausting. The difference now was that he stopped hiding it. Not entirely, but enough. Dr. Elena Hart, his neurologist, became an ally. Whatever you're doing, she told Priya during one appointment, keep doing it. Adrian groaned. I dislike being discussed like a community garden. You require maintenance. That's offensive. It's accurate. The doctor smiled. His MRI results remained stable. Stress markers improved. Sleep improved. Physical conditioning improved. Not cured. Never cured. Managed. And management mattered. Priya helped create an adaptive home gym. Low-impact resistance training. Balance exercises. Stretching systems. Cooling technology to reduce heat-triggered symptoms. The results accumulated slowly. More endurance. Better mobility. Greater confidence. Then came the setback. A significant flare. It started with vision problems. Then weakness. Then severe fatigue. Within 48 hours Adrian required mobility assistance. The setback devastated him. Priya found him alone at home. Lights off. Laptop closed. Which frightened her more than anything. Because Adrian always worked. Hey. No response. She sat beside him. The silence stretched. Then, I'm tired. The words sounded broken. Not physically. Emotionally. Priya listened. What if this is as good as it gets? He asked quietly. What if every improvement is temporary? Her throat tightened. Because chronic illness carried questions nobody could answer. No guarantees. No certainty. Only adaptation. Only persistence. Only living anyway. She took his hand. Then we'll adapt again. His fingers tightened around hers. Chapter 4. Falling. You make everything sound simple. It's not simple. She met his eyes. It's just worth doing. For the first time in days, Adrian smiled. Small. But real. Chapter 4. Falling. The first time Adrian realized he loved her, she was arguing with the CFO Victor Lang. Brilliant. Efficient. Skeptical. And increasingly annoying. The company cannot revolve around accommodations. Victor snapped. Priya's expression hardened. The company already revolves around accommodations. Silence. Victor frowned. What? She pointed around the room. Elevators. Pause. Glasses. Pause. Laptops. Pause. Air conditioning. Everyone stared. Human civilization is one long accommodation. Adrian nearly laughed. Victor looked personally offended, which made it even funnier. Afterward, Adrian watched Priya storm away. Determined. Passionate. Fearless. Beautiful. And suddenly he knew. This was dangerous because he wanted more, far more. The realization terrified him, not because he doubted her, but because he doubted himself. Who willingly chose a future filled with uncertainty? Medical complications. Hospital visits. Flares. Limitations. He couldn't ask that of someone, especially someone like Priya. So naturally, he avoided her, which lasted approximately 4 days, before she cornered him. Chapter 5. The First Kiss. Are you mad at me? No. Did I break something? No. Then why are you acting weird? His eyes closed briefly. Because I'm an idiot. She blinked. That's surprisingly self-aware. Against all logic, he laughed. And, just like that, the distance disappeared. Chapter 5. The First Kiss. It happened after midnight. Not because either planned it. Because life rarely respected schedules. A product launch had finally succeeded. Months of work. Years of research. The office celebrated. Then everyone left. Everyone except them. Rain fell beyond the windows. City lights glowed below. Adrian sat on a sofa. Exhausted but happy. Priya joined him. For several minutes neither spoke. Then, you changed my life. She looked surprised. I adjusted your calendar. You did much more than that. His voice softened. You reminded me that I still have one. The honesty stole her breath. Adrian turned toward her. Gray eyes steady. Warm. Vulnerable. I care about you. Silence. Then so do I. His heartbeat accelerated. May I kiss you? The question hung gently between them. Consent. Choice. Respect. Priya smiled. Yes. The kiss was soft. Slow. Careful. Chapter 6. Building something new. Not dramatic. Not desperate. Just right. When they separated, both were smiling. Neither had felt this safe in years. Chapter 6. Building something new. Dating Adrian Voss turned out to be surprisingly ordinary. Which Priya loved. There were fancy dinners occasionally. But there were also grocery trips. Movie nights. Physical therapy sessions. Terrible attempts at cooking. Adrian's risotto nearly qualified as corporate sabotage. Priya informed him accordingly. I built a billion-dollar company. You also burned rice. Both statements are true. Their relationship remained grounded in communication, particularly regarding health. Some days Adrian had energy. Some days he didn't. Neither treated this as failure. Instead, they adapted, rescheduled plans, adjusted expectations, found alternatives. Partnership. Chapter 7. The attack. Not sacrifice. And with every month, trust deepened. Chapter 7. The attack. The crisis arrived without warning. A coordinated corporate attack. Leaked documents. False reports. Investor panic. Someone wanted Adrian removed. The board convened emergency meetings. Victor discovered evidence. Sabotage. Several directors quietly supported replacing Adrian, using his health as justification. Chapter 8. Standing together. The betrayal hit hard, especially because stress triggered symptoms almost immediately. Fatigue worsened. Balance issues returned. Pain increased. Priya watched the warning signs accumulate and feared another major flare. Unfortunately, she was right. Chapter 8. Standing together. The flare struck during the most important week in company history. Vision problems. Weakness. Severe exhaustion. Adrian could barely stand. Yet investors demanded answers. The board demanded leadership. The company demanded direction. Everything happened simultaneously. In the original novel, this was where he broke. Not this time, because this time he wasn't alone. Priya's systems activated automatically. The AI scheduling platform redistributed workload. Senior executives received priority assignments. Critical decisions were organized. Communication streamlined. The adaptive mobility system allowed Adrian to navigate safely. The wearable detected worsening symptoms early. Dr. Hart intervened immediately. Medication adjustments. Rest protocols. Monitoring. No preventable complications occurred. Most importantly, Adrian listened, which was perhaps the greatest miracle of all. The emergency board meeting occurred 3 days later. He arrived using his mobility device. Head high. Unapologetic. Several directors exchanged looks. Adrian noticed and smiled. Dangerous. Confident. Brilliant. Let's discuss competence. The room went silent. For 2 hours he dismantled every argument. Every accusation. Every manipulation. Data. Performance metrics. Growth projections. Evidence. Facts. Not pity. Not inspiration. Results. Chapter 9. The future they chose. By the meeting's end, the opposition collapsed. Victor publicly supported him. Investors stabilized. Saboteurs were removed. And Adrian retained complete control. Not despite his disability. With it openly acknowledged. Without shame. Without apology. Exactly as it should have been. Chapter 9. The future they chose. 1 year later. The company looked different. Flexible schedules. Accessibility-first design. Remote work support. Adaptive technologies. Mental health programs. Mandatory workload protections. Nobody was allowed to work 72-hour shifts. Priya had insisted. Vehemently. Adrian agreed immediately. Too many people confused burnout with commitment. Too many lives were damaged by that lie, including hers. Though nobody in this world knew it. The company became a model for disability inclusion. Not charity. Not tokenism. Real inclusion. Practical inclusion. Opportunity. Innovation. Respect. The inventions they created together expanded worldwide. Adaptive workplaces. Smart mobility systems. Chronic illness management tools. Helping thousands. Then millions. Exactly the future both had dreamed of. One evening they stood on a rooftop terrace, watching sunset paint the city gold. Adrian rested comfortably against the railing. Stronger than before. Not cured. Still attending therapy. Still managing symptoms. Still experiencing occasional flares. Still adapting. But living fully. And confidently. A life worth building. A life worth protecting. He turned toward her. Do you ever wonder how everything changed? Priya smiled softly. Every day. Because she remembered another life. Another city. Another exhausted woman driving home alone. A woman who never got a second chance. Except somehow she had. And she intended to honor it. I think, she said quietly, sometimes people save each other. Adrian reached for her hand. That sounds suspiciously wise. I practice occasionally. Once a year. Don't push your luck. He laughed. The sound remained one of her favorite things. Then he brought her hand to his lips. Gentle. Loving. Certain. Thank you. For what? For staying. Her eyes softened. There was never anywhere else I'd rather be. The sunset deepened. Epilogue. The city glowed. And together they looked toward a future neither had expected to find. Not perfect. Not easy. Not guaranteed. But real. A future built on communication. Trust. Science. Adaptation. Love. And the understanding that strength was never about pretending not to struggle. Strength was learning how to live fully anyway. Hand in hand. Together. Epilogue 3 years later, Adrian and Priya launched the Voss Accessibility Initiative. Its mission was simple: create technology that increased independence, dignity, and quality of life for people with chronic illnesses and disabilities. The first products included adaptive workstations, fatigue monitoring wearables, AI-assisted mobility devices, and workplace accessibility platforms. Every design followed the same philosophy: nothing about us without us. People with disabilities participated directly in development, testing, and leadership. The initiative became one of the most successful divisions in company history. Not because it was profitable, though it was. Because it solved real problems. The kind of problems both Adrian and Priya understood intimately. On difficult days, symptoms still appeared. On stressful days, setbacks still happened. Life remained life. But neither faced challenges alone anymore. And perhaps that was the greatest invention they ever created. A partnership built not on rescue, not on dependency, not on perfection, but on respect, choice, understanding, and love. A second timeline. A better one. For both of them. The end.